Hello and welcome to the Suns podcast test run. This is the round 7 episode of what will be hopefully a weekly podcast for the fans by the fans. That means getting all of you guys on board to have your say for one of the greatest clubs in the world. Let's just be honest about that. We're new, but we are building something very big, which I'm sure we all agree with. Round 7 saw us play the Melbourne Demons at the MCG. Final scores: Gold Coast Suns 16-18, 114 to the D's, 7-12-54. A great day for every Suns fan. Our first win in Victoria, our first win on the hallowed ground of the MCG, and really, we were never challenged. I mean, the first 5 or 10 minutes, I think we were on top, really. In terms of, we had most of the possession, we were running them off their feet. They had they were rudderless, let's just be honest, but no goals were scored early. It took probably 10 or 15 minutes until the first goal was kicked, but from then on, we absolutely smashed them. By quarter time, half time, they were never really in the match, and then after half time, we came out and Campbell Brown got that not lucky, but he milked a free kick, let's just be honest there, and he slotted the goal, and it was junk time after that. They didn't look in the game at all. Some of the stats, we had far more possession than them. 410 possessions to the Suns, 309 to the Demons. Really, that's 25% more possessions. They can't ever really be in a match if that happens. It's a really good result for us. Smacked them all over the park in all types of statistics, but a few that stick out for mine, hit outs. I think we can all agree that Zach Smith had a great game, probably one of his best for the club, but we actually lost the hit-outs by 2, so it's maybe something to work on there and look for in the future. Our disposal efficiency was 74%, which I think was actually a little bit low. I would have liked to see that up around 80, especially given the lack of pressure from the Ds. Freeze 4 were confronted as well. The Ds fans at the MCG were off their rocker at some times, just livid with the umpires, but I think that's pretty unfair. I thought the umpiring was, terrible both ways, to be honest. The clearances were pretty even, which I think we could have done a bit better at. Not that we were beaten. We're up in the top 5 in the AFL, 4 clearances, but we could have won a few more there. But again, I think we did put the cue in the rack late on. Really, I think it's a game that we had to win. It's a game that we did win. And get out of there without any injuries would have been the best result. But unfortunately, we did have a couple, with obviously Jared Brennan going down to a late, cheap elbow from Colin Sylvia, who has made a habit of doing a few, off-the-handle acts, which the match review panel has stung him for 3 weeks, which I thought could have been a couple more, but we'll leave that one there. An incident that probably wasn't malicious at all, but Tom Murphy gone down with concussion as well. Didn't look good when it happened, but I think he'll be all right. As we saw him in the rooms after the game, singing the song loudly and proudly. So hopefully those two, they're listed as a test, so hopefully they'll be right for this weekend, because we'll definitely need him this week against the Doggies. Having a look at the injury list here, Jackson Allen will be a test as well, but I don't think he'll be in senior selection, unfortunately, this week. Dan Gorringe is a test. Now, Charlie Dixon is out for another week with the ankle injury, so maybe if we want to bring in another tall, he may be an option, but I think he'll come back through the 2s. Seb Tape. Now, he's been out for a long time. It is great that he's back to finally a test. Hopefully he can get up and have a run around in the 2s this weekend, because all of us Suns fans will love to see him back on the park. He was great before he went down, and hopefully he'll come back and have an impact again. Mav Wello is listed as a test as well. He should be right to go, hopefully in the 2s. Joel Wilkinson is another one who played really, really well this year. He's really stepped up his game, and hopefully he can continue that form on when he comes back from his ankle injury. Carmichael Hunt's another week away, and obviously Matty Warnock and Nathan Bock are down indefinitely. But it'll be interesting to see if Stephen May is right to go as well, because we really need another tall forward, especially with Dixon out. So hopefully Maisie will be all right, but we shall see going forward. Now the votes, brought to you by the Big Footy Suns webpage. We're going to go 5 down through to 1 in this voting system, and through popular consensus, 5 votes go to, we'll start at number 1. 1 vote goes to the ever-reliable Dave Swallow. Now, his move to the back flank has been absolutely immense. He's looked right at home down there. He really has provided us with, well, he's a great defender first and foremost, but going forward, his disposal and his vision has been absolutely first class. So 1 vote there to Dave. 2 votes to Big Rory Thompson. Now, he has a namesake on the Big Footy board. We won't go there yet, but Big Rory Thompson, look, there's no doubt about it. He will end up being an All-Australian by the time his career's over, as long as he doesn't get injured. There was an article today about that, and he has the makings of an absolute star. As a 10-year centre-half back, and that's probably one of the toughest positions to play. So, Rory Thompson, another great game from him. Had it pretty easy, to be fair. The midfield worked really hard, but played very, very well. Very assured down back. 3 votes. Dion Prestia. Now, this little guy, we love him at the Suns. We really, really, really hope that he doesn't leave us at the end of the year, because really, we need to hold on to him. There is talk of him wanting to go home to Melbourne. Hopefully the Suns can keep him, can get him wrapped up for a few years to come, because he will be a mainstay as part of our rotation. I think he's a really good depth guy. He'll play, he's in our best 22 for mine, but I just think he's one of those guys that you can plug him pretty much anywhere as long as it's not in a key post, and he'll do a job for you. Can win the ball in the midfield, can lock down on a defender in the back line, and I honestly think if we needed to go forward, he'd be a bit of a live wire down there as well. So 3 votes to him. Number 4 votes to the amazing, the saviour himself, no doubt about it. Gary Ablett was, again, at his best at the MCG on a Sunday, running around, doing as he pleased. At times it was almost like he embarrassed the Demons. The way he span out of packs, and just time almost stood still for him, and he just found the right option and just took his time, and really, he's just a joy to watch, and we should all be thankful that we do get to watch him on a regular basis. And the number 5 to Zach Smith, who, wow, what a season he's having after, I must say, he had the incident where he may or may not have been dropped. Now, he didn't have the best start to the year. Then there was talk that he maybe have to spend a few weeks in the twos. But he went and asked Bluey, I think. We're not 100% on the details, but he did go and ask the coaching staff, that's for sure, if he could retain his spot. And he said that he'll try and improve, and he'll prove to the club that he's worth persisting with as a number 1 ruckman. Since that happened, he's put in some amazing performances. And I know that the Demons are missing some of their ruck stock, but gee, he was really, really good on the weekend. Kicked some important goals, and I think at ground level, to have a ruckman who's so competent and who can win his own ball, and especially inside the forward 50, he's such a dangerous guy to match up on, and certainly opposition teams, it's tough to find such an athletic ruckman to go with him. So we're in good hands with Zach Smith in the ruck, as long as he can continue that. Great work on the weekend there, Smithy, and we'll see if we can back it up against the Dogs this week. We're going to move into the weekly topic for this week, which we haven't really set up a proper forum to get this, but from in the future, we'll have you can get in touch with us. We'll have a Twitter account. We'll have the Big Footy. Hit us up on Big Footy or Twitter. Maybe even have a Facebook. We'll see going forward. But the first topic this week we'll delve into is the Nathan Bock drug probe. Now, it's come out that Nathan Bock has been, allegedly, we'll say, he's been involved in the drugs and sport investigation, because he was allegedly given a substance that was described to him as an amino acid, and that it was cleared for athletes to use. However, ASADA now, the Australian Sports Anti-Doping Authority, that's a mouthful, will be investigating him and over the use of this, what was described to him as an amino acid, but is actually a peptide, goes by the name of CJC1295, which is actually banned. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens here. As we know, and as pointed out by, I won't name names yet, but we will in the future when you get in touch with us. We'll keep it anonymous for now. But as pointed out rightfully by a couple of posters on the Suns' Big Footy, the media is bent over backwards to keep the Essendon players and everyone involved in the Essendon drug scandal out of the limelight. They haven't named names, and everyone involved with the situation has said either no comment or, we don't want to disrupt the investigation or jeopardise the investigation by ASADA, so we're not going to name names yet. Nathan Bock his name's been put front and centre in this investigation as the only player that's being investigated at this point. So it's a bit of an anomaly there, isn't it? I mean, you can't have it one way, and you can't have your cake and eat it. You either name everyone or you name no one. And I think Bocky's copped a bit of the raw end of the stick on this one. It's not fair, and some people are calling for Bock, if he is cleared of this, to sue the media who has named him, which may or may not be possible, due to the slander laws and whatnot, but certainly it's not right. Not really happy at all with that. There is a media statement on this. The Suns did release a media statement to deal with this. I'll quote here: "An ongoing investigation by ASADA in the AFL is underway into the potential use of performance-enhancing drugs in the AFL. The Gold Coast Footy Club confirmed that there are certain individuals involved with the Essendon fitness program during the period under investigation briefly worked for the club." Now that's Stephen Dank, and that is the weapon as well. So those guys did work at the club for a brief period, but they were gone after 3 months. Now, I don't know if the club knew that something untoward was going on with those guys or what the reason was for their sacking, and I don't think we will know fully ever. I don't think that type of thing will be made public, but it is sort of a good sign that the club has got rid of them, basically as soon as they got there, they're straight out the door. So that looks good. But the Gold Coast Club is, in the media statement, say that they are fully cooperating with the continuing investigation and that they look forward to meeting with representatives from ASADA shortly. Now, that seems to be as positive as it can be, really, given the circumstances. So I don't think we've got too much to worry about there, Suns fans, but let us know what you think. Get on Big Footy and give us your comment. As I said, as next week going forward, we'll have a Twitter as well and possibly a Facebook. But hit us up with what you think about that one. Now, the Doggies. The Doggies. Now, these guys have been playing pretty well, actually. I know they haven't got the results on the board, but they're really, really competitive in some really key stats. Contested possession, the Dogs are second to none, really. They've been quite sensational. It's a game that we should win, Suns fans. If we were going to be respected throughout the league, these are the type of games that we have to win. And I think we can. It does hurt Dicko not being there, but I think we can really handle them. In round 8, 2012, the last time we played at TIO Stadium, the Dogs got up by 38 points. Before that, we played them twice in 2011, and they got up by 22 points in round 14 and by 71 points in round 3, which it was very early on for the Suns. So really, 22, 38 points the last two meetings. I think we've improved since then, and I think they've gone potentially backwards. So it is a game that we're every chance to win. The selection news will be the key for mine as to who comes in and who doesn't. Obviously, Brennan and Murphy being the two key ones. I think Murphy this year has been, absolutely an unsung hero. He's been immeasurable, his efforts for the Suns and what he's provided for the team. So it will be interesting to see if those two get up. But look, I think if Brendan plays, Murphy plays, and we play the type of footy that we know that we can produce, we'll be fine. A couple of guys to watch out for from them. We know about Griffin. He had 33 touches against the North Melbourne Kangaroos, and they're not a bad midfield. So I think he'll get up around that mark again, and hopefully we can just limit his how damaging he can be. Boyd, obviously another one who gets a lot of the footy, but it's the guys like Luke Dalehouse I think we're going to have to be very careful, and that's why I want Thomas Murphy to get up so badly, because he will help us out down back. I'm not sure that Murphy will go to Dalehouse, but he's very, very dangerous if he can get a lot of the footy, and we have to stop that happening. Johannesson, another young kid for the Dogs, I should say, who will come in and make an impact for them. their young brigade, their midfield is very similar to ours in that they're still developing and still trying to find their feet in the AFL, but I think we're a bit more advanced than them. Mitch Wallace and Liberatore are the ones to watch out in that respect, but will Minson dominate Zach Smith in the ruck? It's another very interesting question. I think Zach Smith's going to have a really good game because, in my opinion, Will Minson's probably a top 5 ruckman in the AFL. I know that sounds probably outrageous to some of you, but I think he's quite underrated. And I think he just provides what you need in a ruckman, and that is the strong body, provides a contest every single time, and is a target to kick to. And that's all you need, that's all you ask for, that's all you want in a big ruckman sometimes, and he provides that for them, and he's pretty dangerous. So he'll be interesting to see how Zach Smith goes against him. Another one there, Liam Jones. He has been in some form of late. Some form, I say that very loosely, because he, to be perfectly fair, from my perspective, I don't think he's performed to anywhere near his potential so far in the AFL. I think he's been pretty average, if I'm being honest, and he needs to take the next step forward for Footscray to take the next step forward as a club, and he's starting to hold a few more marks, which is the first sign. If he can take them in damaging places, and that means in the forward 50, that's the next step for him. And if he can convert and kick a few goals, that's what you need from him. So we'll be looking to limit his influence, I'm sure. Rory Thompson might get the job on him, I think, and I think Thompson should have his measure, but we shall see. But for now, that's it. We're done. It's a wrap. As I said, this show will be a lot smoother in the future. I apologise profusely for the lack of quality in the microphone. It sounds appalling, I know, but it won't be like this going forward. This is just sort of not a test run, but a precursor to what will be something a lot more advanced in the future. And the aim of this show will be to get you guys out there involved, to have your views heard. We're going to have Suns fans all across Australia calling in, having their say on this podcast, the Suns podcast, and that stems from Big Footy. We're going to have, hopefully, some players come in and do a few little interviews, have a chat with those guys in the future, maybe even some of the coaching staff and that type of thing going forward. But we'll be a lot more advanced as of next week and going forward. We need approval from Apple. We'll get that, and we'll see how we go from there. But Saturday, 4:40 p.m, it's a twilight fixture against the Bulldogs. Come on, Suns. Let's get up. Let's win 2 in a row. Let's cement ourselves as a real serious team going forward. We may even sneak into the 8 for what would be, the first time at a reasonable stage of the year. We're on a roll here. Let's keep it going, and let's knock over those doggies. Come on, you Suns, and we'll see you next week.